so much, Cecilia. It's been really great listening to Ken and to Cherie. I feel like I have so much more of a re-education on skin science and product development. No matter how many years you spend in the beauty industry, it's always great to kind of go back to those fundamentals and also hear about those latest trends in product development. It's really exciting. And so I do want to kind of cap off our education session today by talking about the ultimate beauty secret, what consumers really want. A little bit about me to start off with. I have also spent quite a bit of time in the beauty industry, pretty much my entire career since I got out of business school a long time ago. And I have pretty much met the gamut of working on cosmetics, skincare, sun care, hair care, even NutriBeauty. And then in more recent years, I've really taken a deeper dive into naturals. I've also worked across, a number of different brands, global and multinational brands, and in all different classes of trade. In 2019, right before pandemic hit, I founded the Human Beauty Movement as a way to catalyze what I believe that the world needs more of right now, and that is radical inclusivity, wellness, and sustainability. My business became a certified B Corp just last year in recognition of its commitment to social and environmental impact, which was a great honor. And then just this past year, I founded a skincare brand called Humanist Beauty. It's 100% plant-based formula, and being a proponent of quality over quantity and slow beauty over churn and burn, I position Humanist Beauty as better skincare for better humans. So Cherie beautifully articulated some of the consumer insights that lead to new product opportunities. And so I'd like to go a little bit deeper and talk more about those feelings, kind of deep dive into that emotional aspect that was spoken about. And so absolutely, we are still languishing. How have we been feeling? I mean, we have to all kind of look back at everything that we've been through. We've all been through such a crucible. And even still, I think that there is this residue of people still, remembering and feeling, and it's leading to this languishing of feeling unheard, feeling unseen, feeling isolated. And it's like these dark days that cause us to feel alone and kind of floating through space. So whether it's due to the quarantining or social distancing, working from home, or being displaced from work altogether, a great many of us have experienced a different kind of isolation, and one that leads to loneliness, a sense, unfortunately, of a lack of value, and like almost a loss of identity. And then there's, of course, sadness and depression. Again, it's like we've all been struggling with this sense of fear, this overwhelming nature that our health, the health of our loved ones, our elders, it's really taken a toll on our mental well-being and our emotions. And, so many people have lost their lives, others have lost their livelihoods, others have lost their life savings. It had us anxious not only about illness, but it escalated into this anxiety over how are we going to live? What is our place in the world? And there was a swell of feelings like everybody was out to get us, and many started questioning everything. You saw this, great jadedness, this great skepticism over everything from government to vaccines to science in general. I guess it left us all kind of looking for that spirituality, like what is the meaning of life, and going inward. And then lastly, we have really, unfortunately, added fuel to the fire: racial injustice, power trips, hate crimes. These hit mass awareness levels. Of course, racism and bigotry have, they're nothing new, but they hit these levels of awareness and visibility. And this just the stark reality of scrolling through your feed and witnessing so many incidences had ignited this collective outrage. And so there's many ethnic communities, Cecilia and mine included, we've been, amassed in this feeling of being personally attacked. And rightly so, when brands also use these marketing tactics without backing up hollow statements with real action, then people start feeling exploited and even outraged at brands. There've been some beauty brands that have come into fire and then enter rampant call out and cancel culture among consumers. So where does this all lead to? How do we address this? And, how do we want to feel? I think that it's pretty clear, and I think we'd all agree that the way we want to feel is that all is well, that things are going to be well. Wellness is being thrown around a lot these days, and I'm fortunate to be actually a part of and a member of the Global Wellness Institute in their Beauty Meets Wellness program. So I wanted to kind of speak a little bit on breaking down specifically what I mean by wellness very clearly, so that everybody kind of understands what it's all about. And so when I speak about wellness, there are in fact these 8 dimensions that I like to refer to. A lot of us are, familiar with some of these aspects, but others, people don't really, think about certain aspects of wellness. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about each. The first is physical wellness, and that is the obvious one at the top of this wheel. It's how we respect our bodies. It's behaving in ways that will minimize avoidable illnesses. Each and every day getting healthy nutrition, regular sleep, regular exercise, and maintaining proper self-care help promote that physical wellness. Avoiding physical destructive behaviors like excessive alcohol, sugar, smoking, sun exposure, those help pave the way to optimal physical wellness. The next one is emotional wellness. That is the ability to acknowledge and express all of your feelings in a productive way. It's not about being in a happy mood and Pollyannic all the time. In fact, a key part of emotional wellness is accepting that you won't feel happy all the time. Recognizing and expressing those feelings of anger and fear and sadness and helplessness, stress and grief are just as important to your emotional well-being as recognizing and expressing feelings of happiness, courage, joy, hope, and love. When you're able to acknowledge your feelings and work through them, and then get help when coping on your own becomes too difficult, then you'll be taking great steps to improve your emotional wellness. The third aspect is spiritual wellness. Now, spiritual wellness is striving to align your actions with your values and a greater sense of purpose. A healthy spiritual sense benevolently connects you to others and the world around you. So developing spiritual wellness moves you from apathy about your value of your life to deeply yet humbly recognizing your significance. And while religion and beliefs do play a role in spirituality, true spiritual wellness serves to unite and respect all of humankind without raising fear or hatred of those who uphold differing beliefs. As we know all too well, a lack of spiritual balance can lead to fanaticism, extremism, intolerance, and even loss of life. The fourth aspect is intellectual wellness. Now, intellectual wellness is the desire to seek new challenges in support of lifelong learning. It's intentionally striving to stimulate, engage, and exercise your brain to gain knowledge, discover wisdom, or learn a new skill. It's cultivating your curiosity by participating in challenging activities that interest you and staying open to new ideas, opportunities, interests, and wisdom to help enrich your mind, keep your brain healthy, and support that neuropliability. Seeking out cerebral stimulation without this active, intentional consideration can unfortunately lead to that passive, habitual time-wasting activity like scrolling through social media or mindlessly watching hours of television. Never have I ever, right? The fifth area is social wellness, and that is the ability to establish and maintain positive relationships with your family, friends, partners, and colleagues. Social support is a real fundamental human need. Building bonds, engaging in conversations, and sharing meaningful experiences with other people enriches your lives and the lives of others. So fostering those close relationships every day gives you a sense of belonging and helps love grow. Relationships that aren't balanced, functional, or altruistic, however, can be draining and seriously can detract from your well-being. Being able to identify, address, and correct unhealthy aspects within relationships is not easy, but it is important for overall well-being. And letting go of those toxic relationships, welcoming in nurturing relationships allows energy to flow more naturally and healthfully. Now, a lot of people don't think about this next one, which is occupational wellness, but it's becoming more and more important, especially as we're thinking about COVID and how we've changed the way that we're working. Occupational wellness is a desire to contribute and be productive in your work so you can make a positive impact on society as a whole. Self-reliance, dependability, skill progression, and stakeholder interconnectivity all play roles in contributing to occupational wellness for yourself and those with whom you work closely. Wellness in the workplace enables employees to perform at their highest potential, and having the ability and the empowerment to improve impacting factors like work-life balance, your tools, resources, your atmosphere, and your acquisition of skills all weigh into these positive gains in occupational wellness. Next, we have environmental wellness, and that is the ability to make a positive impact on your environment, be it your home, your neighborhood, your city, or the entire planet. The spaces where you live and where you work and where you dwell, they're an expression of your energy and your state of mind and your values. So taking your steps to, clean, organize, there's been a lot of nesting going on these days. There's been a lot of people just moving homes, buying new homes, switching out their environments. These are important for your overall wellness and your energy. And also supporting organizations that act to reduce pollution and facilitate natural health contribute greatly to promoting environmental wellness on a larger scale. And then lastly, this is also one that we don't really think about, but it is so important, and that is financial wellness. The ability to understand money, your financial situation, and your preparedness for changes that can impact your finances. On one hand, it's recognizing that you have a responsibility to earn enough money to support your lifestyle and then save sufficiently for future needs. But on the other hand, it's recognizing that money isn't everything, that accumulating, monetary wealth at the expense of everything else leads to various other ills, right? The biggest cause of stress in America today is concern over finances. Far too many people don't earn enough money to even survive. A few, and too few at the top are hoarding the world's money. Until we find sustainable solutions to these inequities, we have to do what we can to maintain our own individual state of financial wellness by detaching money from ego, and recognizing that money is a tool for survival and comfort is, kind of really where we will be able to refuse to equate net worth with self-worth. So those are the 8 dimensions. Hopefully that helped elaborate and articulate what we mean by when we talk about, well-rounded, full spectrum wellness. And so, going forward, as we're kind of coming out and we seek to not languish, we seek to thrive, don't we? What will be our well beauty resolutions to get to this place? I think that a lot of us are finding these ways to heal. We talked about yoga, we talked about meditation and prioritizing quality of sleep. Getting out in nature is so important, finding that spirituality and other things that are going, helping us to get stimulated. Podcasts, we're going deep into different kinds of research, obtaining knowledge. A lot of people are joining clubhouse rooms and listening in on some really stimulating conversations, and also learning ways to help others, because that does help us to heal. These are ways that we are adapting, and certainly, all different ethnicities and all races, it seems like there's just this whole pervasive need and communal approach to healing where we're kind of all in this together as humanity. The next thing that we're doing in terms of finding a beauty resolution is we are holding businesses accountable. Consumers are savvy now to marketing manipulation, greenwashing, whitewashing, weed washing. They're growing weary of all of the things that are being said just to make a sale. And consumers are looking to align themselves with businesses that do align with their values. They're holding, businesses accountable for providing providing proof of ingredient sourcing, of eco-sustainability, of CEO compensation and equitable pay, of doing no harm, of valuing diversity and inclusivity, of putting people first and contributing to their wellness rather than, putting dollars in their own pockets. People are truly voting with their dollars in this way. And the younger that you get, the more that you are inclined to this behavior. Additionally, I had put segments of the wheel here that this essentially impacts on the wellness tools. And yes, I actually even included occupational here, because if you think about business and that we spend so much time at business and at our work, we want our work to be fulfilling and, not just to our bank accounts, but to enhance our own sense of contributing value and purpose with our skills and our lives. And so we're looking to our employers to be able to provide wellness at work and tools for our well-being. And then this third aspect that we're doing in terms of contributing to well beauty resolutions is, hooray, we are dismantling beauty standards. No longer is there a beauty norm or a standard where people need that to feel like they have to conform to somebody else's vision of beauty. It's all now about uniqueness, embracing your own look, celebrating flaws, and then helping others by pulling back the veil on photo retouching and what real skin looks like, what real bodies look like, and knowing that it's okay to kind of show yourself. So hooray for dismantling beauty standards. But in terms of all three of these things and knowing what we're doing in terms of taking steps towards wellness, what is that ultimate beauty secret? What is it that consumers, and knowing that we are all consumers, what is it that we really want? Surprise, surprise, or maybe not so surprising, the thing that we are all seeking most is love. If you think about fundamentally what is underneath the striving for beauty, the striving for wellness, it's the striving and the desire for love. And where does it start? It starts with self-love. It starts with doing this because it feels good to you. It's helping you. It's really not only boosting your self-confidence and your self-esteem, but doing it because you truly, truly love yourself. And I think that in the past, the beauty industry, unfortunately, has not done such a good job at fostering self-love. We're doing a much better job today, and hopefully we will continue to do more so in the future. But, rather than objectifying, rather than putting up standards or imagery where people felt that they needed to look like somebody else or be somebody else or behave like somebody else, this is the opportunity for us to kind of show ourselves some forgiveness and show ourselves some support and show ourselves this self-love. Yes, that it all starts with you as your own individual in your human skin, and that you're doing this all for you. But then, of course, we want those connections. We want to feel loved. We want to be loved. We want to feel like we matter. And it is important for us to know that, part of being beautiful is to be able to be recognized for our gifts and to be able to receive this love. And that is such a fundamental aspect of mental and emotional wellness, is to be loved. And then lastly, to give love. And there are so many beautiful moments, and I say beautiful moments because I do believe beauty is more of an emotion than it is just, skin deep, if you will. And it is this notion that, when we give love, we are at our most beautiful. When we are kind to others, we are at our most beautiful. When we are able to give love, I believe that we are at our most beautiful. And so hopefully, beauty brands will recognize that beyond the skin, beyond the surface, beyond the makeup and all the fun that we do in order to shapeshift our avatars, if you will, surely the meaning behind all of this is to have self-love, to be loved, and to give love. And so what does this mean to be a well beauty brand? How do we connect the dots to create more love for our consumers? Let's think back at the wheel and see what are some tips and some advice that we might be able to share. First, perhaps, as Cherie beautifully mentioned, we can look at our products, but not only that, we can look at our marketing, our operations, all of our decisions. Are we really supporting or detracting from 8 dimensions of wellness for not only our consumers, but all of the stakeholders that we support, the employees, our vendors, our communities, the planet? are we supporting or detracting? Secondly, let's correct and monitor those activities to ensure that we're having a positive long-term impact on society's wellness. They say whatever you measure improves. So let's go ahead and measure it and make sure that we're continually making improvements. Thirdly, love starts inside the company and the brand. Do your employees and stakeholders feel valued? Do they feel appreciated? Are they happy? Are they safe? Are they passionate about serving? Do they love coming into work every day? You know, happy employees make better products. Better products make for a better society. And so how do we change our marketing messages? I kind of think to myself, you know, I spent 20 years as a beauty marketer, and now I'm kind of atoning. I almost think of myself as an unmarketer now because marketing has almost become tantamount to manipulation. A lot of people are not trusting brands anymore. Instead, they'll trust an influencer or they'll trust somebody else. They'll do their own research in order to get to the truth. And so what we need to do is earn back that trust in order to be a well beauty brand. So some of the ways that we can do this, I'm sure that some of you have seen these kinds of messages before, like, oh, you'll be the envy of the party, make them jealous. You know, that sort of thing is a little bit toxic. How can we move away from toxicity and instead talk about the positive aspects of what you're offering? You know, an example is like colors that you can shine in, and, you know, let's really kind of bring joy rather than jealousy. Another thing is like creating obsession, you know, product proliferation, that, you know, you got to have it, must have, get more, buy more, leading to financial unwellness as well as mental unwellness and hoarding. Instead, you know, let's be very choiceful and mindful about each and every product that we put out there so that it's really got this essence of, we made this just for you. And, you know, let's just, you know, not throw out a ton of products into the marketplace to try to capitalize on a wellness trend. Let's really be choiceful and think about the planetary sustainability of doing that. It's not going to be sustainable. So let's really just think about how we can be and more pace out everything that we're launching. How can we, you know, re-support things that we already have in our portfolios and let those shine. Fix that flaw, you know, get rid of that cellulite, get rid of that acne. You know, I think that people are kind of like, you know, they don't need fixing. I think that people believe that they're okay just the way that they are. At least that's the healthier way to kind of think about something. But, you know, certainly we know that it does impact people's self-esteem when they've got wrinkles and acne and signs of aging. And so, yeah, it's like, if this bothers you, you know, this is something that you can try, but it's not like you're flawed or that you have this flaw and we're here to fix it. And then lastly, it's like, oh, you deserve that. Isn't that the pinnacle of manipulation? Rather than, yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, this might cost more, and here's why. And it's like validating the, you know, the reason why somebody might want to splurge in something that you're offering. So with that, I think just in culmination and to summarize everything, in order to be a well beauty brand, you know, we really want to do the right thing by consumers. They're counting on us to do the right thing. And so let us truly do it and serve them well. Thank you very much. My name is Jennifer Norman, founder of the Human Beauty Movement and Humanist Beauty.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. That's very inspirational. And thank you for sharing your insight. I think, Alyssa, we have a question for you.
Okay.
From Kevin. Can you talk a little more about radical inclusivity and how that relates to beauty and wellness?
Oh, I would be delighted to, Calvin. You know, I almost think about radical inclusivity as my life's work. And the way that responds to wellness is multiple folds, but I'll answer it in this way. If we think about inclusivity in the past from a beauty aspect, it was kind of like, let's hire a blonde girl, a brunette girl, and a redhead. Yay, we're inclusive. That's not necessarily what I would consider radical inclusivity these days, radical inclusivity is going the extra step to give people seats at the table, not just for representation, but really hearing them, seeing them, and responding to them with with the types of products that you are providing for them, with the messages that you're sending out, for people to feel like they are being seen and being heard. You know, one of the earlier slides that I had is like people just feel like they're forgotten, like they're not seen and not heard, and that they're almost invisible. This happens when people start getting older. This happens when people are of a certain ethnic group and they feel like they're being alienated or just left out or marginalized, or even from an ability standpoint. If somebody has a hard time seeing or reading, or you know, due to any kind of physical or neuro ability difference, then it's kind of like, what can we do to kind of think about them so that they can opt into these wonderful beauty type products and services that we are offering. And so the way that it helps to contribute to wellness is this sensibility of connection and of course, when I say radical inclusivity, I mean that we all feel like we're part of a group, the same team, and that people are really respecting them for who they are. So it gives them that sense of purpose. It gives them that sense of validation, and it helps them to feel important, which leads to, you know, really positive aspects to emotional wellness. And so you know, that's it in a nutshell, but it's really kind of going that extra mile to have compassion and not just empathy, not just saying like, oh, I'm really sorry that this happened, or you know, I feel like gosh, I can understand how you feel, but this is what I'm going to do to take steps in order to make sure that you know from our heart of hearts that you are included and that we see you and that we're making this for you, or we're doing this because we know that you are important and that you matter.
Hmm. Great, thank you. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
On Earth Day, the Allure magazine announced its pledge to avoiding the use of eco buzzwords like green and zero waste packaging.
Yeah.
How do you think this move impacts consumers' wellness?
You know, and I think that that's number one. To your point, Allure magazine has really, I think, done such a wonderful job as of late. One of the more recent moves that they've made is to strike the word anti-aging from all of their editorial. And now this is a way to help to prevent greenwashing. I definitely think that there are certain publications that will literally just take verbatim or at a brand's, you know, behest, you know, different things like, you know, we are a zero waste company, or we have zero waste packaging, or we're a green company, or we're eco-friendly, when such a very small amount of packaging actually gets recycled, and a lot of it is still manufactured in mass and leads to so much planetary harm. And so I think that what Allure is doing by helping to really put brands on notice to say, you know, if you're going to say that you're zero waste, you have to tell us exactly what you mean, rather than just saying that we're no longer going to be able to say that, or we're no longer going to call brands green brands unless they are verdantly green, like they are the color green, which I think is promising. And it's really helping to kind of demystify and to get to more of the truth of what's going on in the beauty industry. So I celebrate it, and I think it's going to help brands to be more open and honest and real. And I think it's going to help the environment in the long run by, you know, recognizing that if people are buying a certain product and they think that it's going to be recycled, these are the things that they need to do in order to make sure that it's going to get recycled. One of the things, just as an example, that I did on my brand is I actually have where people can go on the website and fill out a form. My company will pay for them to send us their empties. They can be from my brand or anybody else's brand. They can send them back, and then we partner with TerraCycle to make sure that it's responsibly broken down and recycled like properly. So it truly is a zero waste initiative, but others are just relying on municipal recycling to say we're zero waste, you know. So that I think is it's a good move, and it's going to lead to overall wellness in the beauty industry from an environmental standpoint.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.